For me, I would say it was never really like one big moment or aha moment of why we started getting involved with the homeless population. But a number of years ago, I had kind of had a gap year after doing some schooling and just try and figure some things out. And I was asked to help out on a missions trip in downtown Montreal. And it was kind of through that I was initially exposed to the homeless population. Social work kind of caught my eye, and ended up, in September I ended up doing a couple-year program at Niagara College, and then from there I ended up applying to the shelter at Southridge and started doing some part-time work. I've now been working at Southridge for almost 10 years and not working at the shelter anymore, but doing street outreach.
Once Sarah started working at the shelter more so, then she was like, hey, you should try hanging out at the rock climbing program and stuff like that. And through that, coming out fairly frequently, pretty much every Tuesday, I met a number of different people through there weekly, but then some who would end up crashing on our couch for a couple times.
Because I know I always tell Ray and Summer a lot of stories from work, but you don't often get to experience it until you just see it real time. So we'll often go for walks downtown, and Summer's very well known, our daughter, down there by a lot of our clients, and they love her. The other day, I was putting Summer to bed, and the other night she said, well, I want to pray for one of our friends. And she said, I just want him to be happy and to get a fresh pair of socks. And then that night, actually, Raymond ended up going to visit him. He said, he ended up actually grabbing a pair of socks out of the back of the car at the end of the day. It was cool being able to tell Summer the next day, like what we prayed for our friend, he was able to get some of those things. And I think when explaining it to Summer, it was a way that I'm like, I guess God does use us to be a part of these relationships. I think one of the biggest things too is that we like to kind of glorify these success stories or these stories from people that we've seen move along from point A to point B, but a lot of times it's not that. And a lot of times it will be, you're in it for the long haul.
Consistently, that's hard. We don't see the point A to point B, your working changes, but we're just along for the ride and trusting that God is still present in there.
Because of a lot of these relationships that we've been able to be a part of over the years, it's really made me rely also on God a lot, and in all these situations, because there's a lot of unknowns, there's kind of this, I know it's cliche to say, but there's this peace throughout it, even when it does not feel that way whatsoever.
I feel like without having these relationships, it would be, you just don't get a sense for the width of God's love, a wider expanse than we would have otherwise of humanity and the struggles that it come with, and that because of, you can just know and experience God's love deeper and wider.
We have a doormat at the front of our house that we got when we moved closer downtown, and it just says, "Come as you are." And I think that that's kind of been our slogan, I guess, so to speak, because so oftentimes you maybe want to see someone go from A to B, or you want so badly for something for somebody, but a lot of times it won't be that way. And just being okay and being present in the midst of that has been super humbling as well.
Sarah has said in the past, and probably with Summer now too, that becomes more prevalent, is God loves us and God loves this person here, and it's regardless of where we see them, where we bump into them, how messy it is, it's still okay, this is still a child of God here.